What? Let me see.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Three, two, one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the beautiful sound of the Gaming and Drinking Cast. Hello, world. Hello, Travis.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 17 of the Gaming and Drinking Cast. I'm Adam Gogan, and I have the aforementioned Travis Casey, aka the copycat.
Oh yeah.
With me. We just literally right before we counted ourselves in, I saw his can and I was like, no fucking way. We literally are drinking the exact same beer right now, and we did not plan this.
Didn't plan it
at all.
That's really funny.
I love that. That
You
makes me really
happy. Post the reaction that we had right prior to the lead in.
Yeah, I will.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's great. So why don't you introduce it?
Yeah, so this is a Birds Fly South Ale project out of Greenville, South Carolina. This is the Sometimes Goats Doppelbock. If you're familiar with the Doppelbock, it pours a light brown color, double bock, and
like
this
a
is
copper.
Actually, yeah, it is
very malty.
I think the base is an amber ale, but it is 9.2%.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Malty.
Yeah, so it says on the can, rich notes of caramel and raisin, and I definitely taste that raisin.
That's really good.
Yeah, that is.
That's like it's like the step up from like a Fat Tire, that style of that amber style, or a copper, OMB copper.
That is delicious though.
Yeah.
I love that I still can't believe that we grabbed the exact same beer.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Of all the beers in all the world.
The cover art, the can art is also awesome.
That was like the whole reason I bought it, to be honest, dude. It's literally like Satan goat.
Yeah, with 4 eyes.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yep. Sometimes Goat Doppelbock, Birds Fly South. Birds Fly South is really good. I haven't really had any complaints about any of their beers that I've had.
No, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nice facility up there in Greenville too. It's kind of out of the way, not really downtown-ish.
I haven't been there, but if you're ever in South Carolina, I think Greenville is kind of like one of those hidden gems that not a lot of people talk about. A lot of people talk about Charleston, they talk about Columbia. Nobody talks about Greenville, I think, outside of maybe like South Carolina and North Carolina people. Yeah. But Greenville is a really cool city to go check out. It's been up and coming for a while, and I feel like it's at a point now where it's pretty dope little town to visit, even if you're not from here.
Yeah, the downtown area is very fun. There's a lot of good restaurants and bars and stuff to check out down there. It is a mini Charlotte, so be prepared. If you're used to big cities like Charlotte, it's probably going to be not exactly what you're expecting, but it's got a nice little waterfall in the middle of downtown. It's a cool spot. Yeah,
it's a chill place, but with a lot of stuff to do.
It's not as chill as it used to be, though. Since it's gotten bigger, it has gotten a lot more like foot traffic and regular traffic, and there's just a lot of people there now.
Yeah.
When you go on the weekends, it can be really crowded, but I guess so can every major city out there.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, I love that we're drinking the same beer. I just can't get over that, dude. There's like literally hundreds and hundreds of beers to pick from like the different stores we go to. And we both happen to pick the exact same one for this exact same segment.
Yeah.
What are the odds? That's great.
I always try to start with the higher APV one, so I get like loose throughout the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of keep it rolling.
Yeah, you just pile APVs.
Give me the 9, APVs. Give me the 12. Let's go. Oh man, but yeah, it's been a good week. Doing some more half marathon training and drinking and gaming and hanging out.
We watched Jackass Forever.
Oh God, yeah.
Got a bunch of snacks when your brother came up. That was really maybe the funniest movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I was like literally every 30 seconds I was doubling over laughing.
Yes, I think watching it with your friends is definitely a big part of that. Like I wouldn't have been laughing that hard if I wasn't with you guys. I would have been crying.
I watched it again with Katie that night. because I was talking about it. She wanted to watch it, and I was laughing just as hard the second time.
Okay, maybe I
just
should.
watched it earlier in the day.
That's funny.
It's very good. And then we watched Bad Grandpa right after, which is also very funny.
Yeah,
which I had not seen in forever.
It's probably been 10 years since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I probably saw it when it first came out, and that was it. But I forgot how funny it was. It is very funny, and I was on that wavelength looking for something like that. After you watch Jackass forever, it's hard to come down from that and like go just watch like Bridgerton or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Katie to watch that one with me too.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but anyways, I say we jump right into it and talk about what we've been playing. Do you want to go first and talk about one of the games you got here?
Yeah, we can go with that. Mine, of course, I guess I'm going to become known as like more of the retro guy on this show because I've been playing.
Oh, nice. You got it. You got the disc.
I got the original. I'm a big, everybody, you know, you've heard me on this podcast. I love old school RPGs, JRPGs, Final Fantasy and all that good stuff. Chrono Cross is the sequel to Chrono Trigger from the early 90s. It was a super game developed by Hironobu Sakaguchi from Final Fantasy, Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest fame, and the composer Nobuo Uematsu. They all three came together and created Chrono Trigger, which is a very beloved game.
It's like considered like the quintessential JRPG. Like
yes, if you were to make a list of the top like 3 RPGs of all time or top 3 JRPGs of all time, it's definitely going to be in the 1, 2, or 3 spot for most people. Chrono Cross is the semi-sequel to that and not nearly as well beloved. I remember when it came out, this is the original case that this is the greatest hits. I think I bought it again later because people don't remember back in the Funko Land days, you used to trade in your games and get very, very minuscule credit for your purchase and go turn around and get something.
I mean, they
else.
still do that at GameStop.
Yeah, but I feel like people don't do that nearly as much as like back in the early 2000s and late 2010s. That was like the thing. You used to do it. I mean, God, how much money did I lose doing that shit back in then? But
oh yeah, same.
I feel like it's not nearly as big of a practice. Like I buy all my games digital now for the most part.
Yeah, unless I'm getting a collector's edition, I'm buying digital.
Yeah, unless you're getting a cat helmet. But Chrono Cross, I do remember that like it was the first 10 I ever saw on GameSpot.com, and so that sticks out in my mind because I remember it very well. Actually, I think I saw Ocarina of Time had like a 10 on GameSpot, but they gave Chrono Cross a 10, and that was really controversial because big time Chrono Trigger fans hate, or not all of them, but a lot of them hate this game. Like,
yeah, I've heard. I honestly, I've played Chrono Trigger. I've not played Chrono Cross.
It's weird. So I've been playing Chrono Trigger again on my little handheld RGB3 or RG350, and that game just moves at a really fast, snappy pace, like a lot of old SNES RPGs do. And PlayStation RPGs are definitely like they're trying to wow you with what were at the time like enhanced 3D graphics, things like that. So it definitely moves a lot slower, and I can see why people don't like. If you're playing Chrono Trigger, it is snappy. If you're playing Chrono Cross, it is slow. Now the remaster, I've read mixed things about the remaster. Some people seem to think they didn't do anything to it. It's just a straight port, which isn't true because there's a fast forward button. There's the invincibility button. There's the turn off encounters button. You can toggle all these things on and off with the press of a button. To me, I mean, that might not be a lot of work, but that's high quality. That's like quality of life stuff, especially when you're playing these old JRPGs, which can take like 40, 50 hours to beat. Having like that fast forward button or the no encounter button, all that stuff can make it such a more pleasant experience. Because really you're there for the story, you're there for the exploration. You might not want to, slave over grinding for 20 hours or so, whatever. And this kind of makes it easier to do that. They up-res the 3D models in the game. So all the player models are high def 3D sprites. And the backgrounds have this like smeared, they definitely upscaled it, but it's not 3D, they're 2D backgrounds. So they have this like smeared quality almost. I don't really like that. And you can switch between the upscale mode and the regular, just straight up PlayStation 1.
So this is graphics. The Radical Dreamers edition you're talking about.
This is Radical Dreamers edition, yes.
Okay.
And I'm playing on the Switch. And one of the other things I read about the port, and I don't know if this is a Switch thing or if this is like this for all ports because I've only played the Switch version, but the frame rate can get real choppy, which was a problem in the original. I distinctly remember playing this game on the PS1 back in the day and it having a bad like slowdown on the frame rate. I don't know why in 2022, literally 22 years after the game was originally made, there's slowdown on any platform. It doesn't matter. The Switch is underpowered. This game is 22 years old.
Yeah,
why?
I mean, the Switch is way more powerful than a PS1. Let's not get it twisted.
So I don't know if maybe there's something in the code that makes it has to chug like that, but it's noticeable. It doesn't bother me that much. Like, I mean, I wish it didn't do that. I wish it were a crisp 60 all the way through. And if it comes to it and like the Steam version has the 60 frames, I'll probably buy it on there so I can play it on the Steam Deck. But for now, I want to play it while I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep, stuff like that. That's how I like to play my JRPGs. So I got it on the Switch. It doesn't bother me that much, but it is something to be aware of if you're going into this game. I think it sucks that they didn't do more than that, but I also think it's unfair to say that they didn't do anything. It's not just a straight port. They just put the ROM on a fucking Switch and go to town. You know, there are definitely improvements, quality of life stuff. There's an auto save every time you walk out of a town. Every time you walk into, in JRPGs, they have like the little thing you walk into and then you can
like
save.
The monolith or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anytime you walk into that, it auto saves. So you don't have to click in and take the, 30 seconds to a minute to do that. Just really nice quality of life stuff that I think help make the game
just brings it better. Makes it feel a little more modern than 22 years old. A
little more modern and a little bit less slow. It makes the pace a lot faster. So this game is about you're this character who of course has amnesia, and you're like traveling in between parallel universes where in one of them you're dead. Your character is dead and everyone is like, you look like this kid that died 17 years ago. And the intrigue and the reasons for that are one of the things you're exploring. But one of the interesting things about this game versus Chrono Trigger is that in Chrono Trigger, you had like 6 playable characters and that's it. In this game, there are like 45 recruitable characters.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those games where you're going around trying to recruit characters and they all have like different stats and innate abilities. And the way that this game has a ton of systems and stuff that I'm not going to get into, but like,
do the abilities of the different characters synergize with each other and like combine to make better abilities or anything like it?
So if you remember, like Chrono Cross had the techniques that you could do like double, triple, and they would combine.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of that kind of, you can do that stuff. It's less like in Chrono Trigger, it just happens. Like you get an ability and then they automatically synchronize. In this game, you have to like, I can't remember what the status bar is called, but you're switching the colors of the like the world basically. Every time you use an ability, an element, they call it like a spell, it changes the color of the world and there's 3 pips on it. And if you completely colorize it into that one color, every ability used that corresponds to that color has like an extra oomph to it. And you can sometimes do like combined attacks with that.
Okay.
But it's not like Chrono Trigger, which you can just do like triple techniques.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking
off
about.
The rip. Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons people tend to not like this game as much. It just doesn't, the systems are so layered that it's a lot less I guess on the surface, like it's a lot, you got to dig in a lot deeper to find that stuff, and not necessarily in a fun way. Like Chrono Trigger, it's awesome when you're just like ripping abilities straight from the start, and then in this game you're having to switch fucking do 3 elements just to get the deck stacked to that color element.
Yeah, I mean you have to paint with all the colors of the wind basically.
Yeah, Pocahontas, I hear you. Thank you for that.
Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon though?
No, but I have heard the sparrow shit on the
branch.
I don't remember the next line. What's the next line?
I think it's
heard the wolf cry to the blue corn
sparrow
moon.
Shit on the branch. I think that's what it is.
So we're gonna go with that. Disney, if you need new songwriters, you know who to call. If you want to do like a Pocahontas live action remake,
yeah,
holla at your boys. We got some songwriting chops for you.
Heck yeah. Oh man.
So it's a good one. It's only $20. So
I will probably get it on Steam. I was looking at, so with this emulation stuff, I was playing Chrono Trigger last night actually. Nice. On a SNES emulator, just to kind of reacquaint myself with it because it's been a while. And it's still a great game, even with like playing it with those like 16-bit, I think, graphics on this 1080p big monitor, it still looks great. Like it still looks fantastic, which kind of blew my mind. I thought it was going to look like shit, but it still looks amazing. But I probably I was doing that because I was looking at Chrono Cross. I thought though that Chrono Cross, this is just my ignorance of Chrono Cross. I thought Chrono Cross was actually a prequel to Chrono Trigger. It's not. It's like a semi sequel.
There's like one character that shows up from Chrono Trigger briefly and says like, "Hey, I basically ruined the whole world," and that's about the only connective tissue there is. There are some like thematic elements that are carried over, but if this were anything, it's a sequel, not a prequel.
What's the main character's name in Chrono Cross?
Surge.
Okay, because in Chrono Trigger it's just straight up Chrono.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Chrono is like I also think that they're both silent protagonists, so it's hard to say that one has more personality than the other. But Chrono to me feels like a more like likable guy. Surge,
I love his hair. I love Chrono.
He's got great hair. He's got great hair. Surge has good hair too. Instead of red, it's blue. But he's got like a do-rag on, so that's less cool automatically. Although he does carry these like twin bladed, like he basically carries a Darth Maul staff instead of a sword.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool. It's a good game. The storytelling is really weird and unique, and the music is amazing. It has a better soundtrack than Chrono Trigger. I'll give you that.
Really? That's tough to say because it's Chrono Trigger's soundtrack is freaking amazing.
Even by people who don't like Chrono Cross, they say that the soundtrack is literally amazing. It is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a video game.
Okay.
But if you like JRPGs and especially with these quality of life things, I think it's a good version of this. It also comes with Radical Dreamers, which is a text-only Satellaview game that never came to America.
That's fun.
The Satellaview was a satellite add-on to the Super Nintendo that was only released in Japan. This text adventure, it has some of most of the same characters from Chrono Cross, the three main characters at least. And you're like what you do at the very beginning of Chrono Cross is you break into this mansion and stuff happens from there. And from what I've looked at, that's exactly what you're playing through is that part. But I think there's some branching paths that happen that gives you more context to what you're doing at the very beginning of the game. And I think it's supposed to kind of bridge Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. But I read a thing that said play Chrono Cross before you play Radical Dreamers. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I haven't touched the text adventure yet.
That's cool. So is it like one of those where it's like you type into the thing like go left or go west or try like, and then like sometimes it'll be like I can do that, or sometimes it'll be like I can't do that. It doesn't recognize what you're typing.
It's not like one of those. It's not like Zork. No, it's more like it gives you like the story is laid out like the scroll comes down and then it gives you like three options like.
Okay.
What do you
so
want?
It's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing, kind of like
a
sweet fucking Goosebumps book.
Yeah, basically, it's a sweet fucking Japanese Goosebumps book, and it does have some like horror-ish elements in it because it's like a dark manor at nighttime, and there's some like there are graphics like it. There's like you see like the castle that you're breaking into. You see some of the characters not like on the screen, but you see art of them.
Dude, that sounds like nice something atmosphere. I would really enjoy.
It seems cool. I have not touched that part of it yet. I'm going to play through Chrono Cross first, and then I'll get into it, and I'll report back when I finally do. But I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
You know what? Hearing you talk about this Radical Dreamers, that makes me want to play. What was that like text-heavy adventure game that came out like a year or two ago about the detective who got drunk and woke up?
Disco Elysium.
Yes, that sounds like, you know, Disco Elysium, like obviously is sprung out from that, but that sounds like a very basic like version of that kind of.
I bought Disco Elysium a while ago, but I haven't played it, so I should definitely do that.
I need to play that game. I think I would really enjoy Disco Elysium.
Yeah, it seems like a very cool game. I just haven't had time to dig into it yet with all the other stuff.
Dude, there's so many games.
We're thankfully
never been in a better time to play video games.
That's true. That's what they say. But I think right now, because we're entering kind of a lull right now. Like I feel like the Elden Ring, Horizon, like all that stuff has come out, and now it's like there's not really anything on the quote unquote horizon coming up. There's not anything. I can't think of anything coming. There's no Call of Duty this year. I don't know anything coming out the rest of the year, to be honest with you. I know there is stuff, but like
everything got delayed.
Yeah,
everything got delayed the next year, which is fine.
Yeah, I need time to
Honestly,
catch up.
I ain't mad at it, dude. I got a lot of catching up to do. I've started doing some catching up. And one thing that I started catching up with was a game that we actually talked about last week. Me and you have talked about it several times, whether it's on camera or off camera, is Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
I know,
amazing game.
You always told me, you know, how great that game is. I've always looked at it. I watched the Hyperlight Drifter trailer probably 4 times. No, I'm not even kidding. Just like thinking about buying, and then I go watch it and I'm like, $20. I don't know. I don't know if I can swing $20 for this, but then like hearing you talk about it so much and then seeing the reviews for it and then like checking out the combat in it, I was like, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger. I want to be able to play this. I want to be able to talk about it next week. So I bought Hyperlight Drifter yesterday, and I played it for probably about an hour on stream last night. If you want to go check that out, by the way, twitch.tv/gaming and drinking. And it's a really freaking good game. I think I'm going to start enjoying it better the further into it I get. But just because the combat from the rip is kind of difficult, but I feel like you're going to upgrade yourself to where it'll get easier and better feeling as I go along. So like I really enjoyed it though. I love that. Speaking of soundtracks, I know we're talking about that soundtrack is so ballin', dude.
Yeah, incredible. The atmosphere of that game is like second to none to me. Like between the music and the pixel art, the way that they use like the giants that rise out of the ground, and you can like see their faces, and first they just look like mountains, and then you see the eyes light up,
and then it's like zombie robots, like
it's such a cool, unique world. The gameplay, I think you don't necessarily you do get upgrades,
you get abilities,
you get.
I mean, you up, like I literally 30 minutes before we started recording, I now have a double dash instead of just a single dash, and I can actually dash like 40 times if I time it right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all timing based stuff.
But before I upgraded it, I could only dash one time.
Yeah, and you'll get a little, like you'll get more pips on your gun. You'll get like more health.
Do you get different guns, or is it just the one gun the whole time?
I think you get different guns. Yeah,
I think so too, because I saw inventory slots for like gun choices.
Yeah, because you get like a shotgun type later on. I can't remember some of the other ones. The pistols, I still use mainly the pistol. The shotgun's good for like up close stuff. I can't remember any there. Oh, I think there's like a sniper equivalent. I think the like beams come together like this, and then you release it and it triggers.
That's cool.
Some cool stuff. But it is all timing based. Like even the guns are all timing based. Your dash is completely. You'll find
that dash window is really tight.
It's incredibly tight, and you'll find like little rooms where you like challenge rooms basically that you don't even know what they are when you first get into them, because there's no like text in this game or anything. Like you don't know what you're doing. You just kind of figure it out by doing it. It's kind of like Elden Ring in that way, where
I was literally one of the first things I said when I started playing it was, I don't know if there's going to be any dialogue in this.
There's not.
And then I realized, I was like, okay, cool. I actually like that. I went into the shopkeeper, and it reminded me a lot of Tunic.
Yeah, a little bit of Tunic too.
Like the way that you go and talk to somebody, but instead of getting any kind of dialogue, you get an image of what they're saying, and it's like 2 or 3 shots of what happened or what kind of story they're trying to tell you, and you kind of have to use context clues just to put it all together.
Yeah, when you're buying stuff, you don't even know what you're buying until it's like, you eventually figure it out just from context. But yeah, at first when you go in there to buy stuff, you're like, I don't even know what is money. Like, how do you use this money?
Oh, exactly. I went in and I was like, okay, there's a thing I can buy. It looks like these 2 little yellow pips are money. What are the yellow? I was like, okay, what are these yellow pips? And then like I go around and I start collecting all these little secret chests, and then I get 4 of them, and they come together and form the yellow pip. And I'm like, oh, as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm gonna like this game.
So you'll get further in, and there's like these challenge rooms that aren't labeled as such. It's just a room, but you'll be doing those dashes. Like I remember this one that's like you have to like dash, basically light up all these things to like these platforms to keep from falling in the lava, and they're all timed to your dash. So if you fuck up any of them, you fall in the lava. And like it's one of the most frustrating things ever. But when you finish it, you're like, it's like beating a Dark Souls boss. You're like, oh my God, I fucking earned that shit. You know, like
Yeah.
it's very satisfying. And you get like a bunch of nice rewards out of it. It's not one of those games where the rewards suck, which I think is a big problem. Because anytime you get money in this game, you're like, oh yeah, now I can go buy something.
I got one coin. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but when I first, so the only thing I bought so far is that multi-dash. Cause I was thinking because I keep getting, you know, there's a reason I hate birds.
Mm-hmm.
They're assholes. They're assholes.
Everybody knows.
This game proves that.
Mm-hmm.
The bird enemies are my least favorite enemies so far.
It's just like an Elden Ring. Yep.
They are some motherfuckers because you can't hit them until they're attacking you.
Which direction did you go in?
I think I've gone like southeast and north.
Well, so each direction corresponds. You're supposed to be gathering something. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but each direction corresponds to like a thing you're supposed to find. So you'll go all the way south, you'll go all the way west, you'll go all the way in directions, and you'll see.
I mean, I've so far I've run into two people on the east side and the south side. I've gotten 2 boss locations revealed to me on the map, but I haven't made it to those bosses. I've kind of been like inching my way through and then maybe teleporting back and seeing what's going on. Like I haven't really figured out exactly what my end goal is yet, which don't tell me, don't spoil it.
I'm not. Just keep going and like don't try to explore the whole map. Go through one area and then come back. You'll see what I mean, because something will happen and you'll be like, oh, okay, I get what I'm doing now.
There's I have found the like chick drifter girl a couple of different times. She's dope. Like one of the so you were talking about like the atmosphere and the characters and stuff are great. One of the first things I also said about this game was I think I want to cosplay this guy. Like
he looks cool as shit.
He's so cool, and I don't think it would be that hard. One thing that like there's something to games that can take something simple and make it awesome. Like the graphics in this game are between 8 and 16-bit graphics, and it's just the color palette they chose and
the way they use like neon lights and things like that, like the light up stuff.
Yeah, so it's like neon lights, but it's also in this like nature environment, and so it's this cool juxtaposition of like futuristic lighting and colors with this like forest environment. And it's super neat. And then like you got this great like bellowing, not even orchestral, like synth soundtrack behind it. And it's like, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing here. It's fucking bonkers. Like there's no English language, there's no any kind of human language in this, but like somehow they make this simple thing with no real communication into a thing of beauty and something that you really want to like just try to figure out. And I think that it really does remind me a lot of Tunic in that respect, but I like the vibe of this game a lot better than I like the vibe of Tunic. I'll tell you that.
Same.
I think Tunic might have taken a lot of its cues from this game, to be honest with you. I know everybody's been saying like Dark Souls Tunic, but I think more freaking Hyperlight Drifter Tunic. I
mean, there's definitely something to that for sure, because the way that they don't give you any kind of instruction, they just say go explore the world. You'll find shortcuts and stuff like that in this game. They're not nearly as like go through the trees like in Tunic, but you definitely find some of the shortcuts and stuff, and the like made up language and all that other stuff. Like a lot of that is
and it's like instead of finding one thing that I think Tunic does better is again the like Nintendo Power booklet that you keep building up on. In this game, instead of that, you have conversations with people and like you get those kind of hints through these like images that they show you. And I really wish that I could hold on to those images as I move forward, but no, the only time you get to see those is when you're with that person. So I think Tunic took some things from Hyperlight Drifter and built upon them to make something a little more cohesive. But this game, dope.
Yeah, it's great.
It gets the dopeness award.
Dope seal of approval.
The dope seal of approval. Put a stamp on it. Put it on the cover.
It's got the much, what do we call it? The gaming drinking bump. It's going to get the
There you
gaming
go.
drinking bump.
Yep. All 4 of you listeners out there have.
They love it.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm really digging that game. I can't wait to get more into it. I will have another update. Like I said, I have about an hour-long stream of it that I did last night on twitch.tv/gaming and drinking. Might do another stream of it tonight. I will do some more streaming for sure, but I'm not sure of what. I've been kind of bouncing around, and I'll go over some other stuff I've been playing too. But what do you say we take a quick break, grab another beer, and come back and talk about some other stuff you've been playing?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. We'll be right back with more booze and games.
Mine's a bottle and yours is a can, so they're definitely different.
Yep. Nice. Oh, Asahi. Okay.
It's a special Asahi Breweries Limited super dry Asahi.
Oh,
So I've never had this kind before.
Okay. Well, hey, everybody, welcome back. Gaming and Drinking, episode 17. We have talked some Hyperlight Drifter. We talked some Chrono Cross. And we're back to talk about some more beer real quick. So, yeah, why don't you tell me about that Asahi there one more time?
So my go-to Japanese beer is Kirin. I love Kirin. It's a great just relax and sit and drink a beer. Asahi is good too. And I saw this one, this super dry. And it's a product of Italy.
I thought Asahi was Japanese.
It is Japanese, but at the very top right here, it says product of Italy. Authentic Japanese recipe.
They outsourced it.
I guess so. It's kind of like how I think Sapporo is now made in New York.
Okay.
But Kirin's still made in Japan. So, but let's see how these Italians did with this Japanese beer.
So it's like an extra dry Japanese Pilsner.
Damn good. Tastes like a Japanese Pilsner. Yeah.
Is it super dry?
Yeah. I mean, it's not sweet at all. So I guess so. It's not super dry. But it's got, like the malts of a pill, the way that the Japanese style is, like the malts of it give it more body than that super dry implies, So to me, it does, like, if you were to put this up beside like a Kirin or something like that, I would not be like, oh, this is way drier than that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's good though. I mean, it's very good. I love this style of beer. Like you give me a Japanese rice Pilsner, like I'm a rice lager, I should say. I'm going to like it.
I am drinking from the brewery in Placentia, California. It's called Gozes Are Red.
Placenta, California?
Placentia, California. No, Placentia, California. Close enough though.
Yeah.
Weird town name.
Yeah. What are you guys doing over there?
But I loved the can. Thought that was cool. It's called Gozes Are Red. It's a Foder aged Goza style ale.
I love the Foder age. That's
with
awesome.
Syrah grapes.
So like a wine based Goza.
Yeah. It's 5.6%.
Yeah, this is 5.2.
It says Gozes Are Red is a stylish, funky, crisp, and tart Goza style ale, dancing with Syrah grapes, satisfyingly complex from the time spent in oak foders. This elevated wheat-based ale has notes of coriander, spice, and a light saltiness to complement the soft tartness.
I'm curious what you think about this, because I had an Orpheus white wine sour one time, and I hated it.
I don't hate that. It it's got like the Syrah grapes definitely give it like a light body. Other than that, it reminds me of like an Anderson Valley Goza, like the watermelon Goza a little bit, because it's got that light sweetness, kind of like the watermelon, but that's from the Syrah grapes.
Yeah.
But that is pretty damn good. I ain't mad at it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Got a good color to it too.
Yeah, I do like that color a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a Goza at all. Like nothing about it looks like a Goza.
Yeah, it's a little darker than most Gozas.
Yeah. A little bit more body to it too.
Yum.
Nice.
Yeah. So we back here doing the gaming and drinking thing. Travis, what have you been playing on other than Chrono Cross?
So I don't know if you heard, but over April Fool's, there was a talk of a game coming back, and it's called The Secret of Monkey Island.
Hell yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Secret of Monkey Island, specifically the first two, the ones that are on PC.
Well, they are making a new Monkey Island.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's not an April Fool's thing. That's actually happening, right?
No, I know. It was announced on April Fool's, though.
Okay.
Because people thought that because what they're doing, they're bringing back Ron Gilbert and the other guy. I can't remember the other guy's name, but both of them are coming back to do it. But they announced it on April Fool's because they thought it would be funny that no one would believe them. And then they said it again the next day, and they were like, "No, we're really doing it." But anyway, that got me like in the point and click adventure mood, which is good because there's a bunch of games on Game Pass that are just straight up point and click adventure games. One of them is Norco, which I'm sure you probably heard about at this point because it's getting a lot of buzz. I have not played that. I'm going to play that, but I wanted to dive into this game because this is more like a neo-noir detective mystery. It's called Chinatown Detective Agency, and it's one of those newfangled point and click adventure games where it's kind of streamlined. You're not picking out of your inventory and like combining stuff like the rubber chicken in Monkey Island with the pulley, that kind of thing. This is way more like you've got like a cell phone in one corner. You've got like a database type thing down at the bottom. You can pull up your past conversations. You can pull up text messages, stuff like that. It's set in like 2032 Singapore. It's got this very cyberpunky type vibe where some people are robots, some people are just like modified humans.
Yeah, it looks like 8-bit Blade Runner.
Yes, it's very Blade Runner-y. The pixel art, I think, it looks really nice to me. But I'm a sucker for pixel art, so maybe don't take that as like I like pixel art. So you give me pixel art, I'm gonna probably enjoy it. But this has the lighting and stuff in it, makes it stand out a little bit more. It's got this like green color palette. Everything seems to be at night. Like the first thing you do is you go to this like oak tree type thing, and you meet this guy there because he wants you to figure out where he wants you to meet him, and you have to kind of figure that out. And that's like the first puzzle of the game. So it's a puzzle in the world, like it's diegetic and in the game itself. So you're figuring out a puzzle as the character and also as the player, if that makes sense. And so because the guy is testing you. And so when you figure it out, then you can meet him and he gives you like the rundown of what your mission is and all this other stuff, and everything spins out from there. But you're solving these minor puzzles, you're having conversations with people, you're making decisions. It's very much one of those types of games. It's like if Telltale made a game that, I don't want to sound snarky, but like was good.
I don't want to sound snarky, but Telltale made good games.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't like Telltale games at all. I think they're all not good. But like this has like the streamlined interface of a Telltale game. I think they're good storytellers. I just don't think the gameplay of the Telltale games are very good.
I mean, they're very cut and paste.
Yeah, and it's like the decision making, the branching paths, and those were like, oh, Clementine's gonna remember this, but it ain't gonna have any impact on the story because it's gonna end exactly where it ends. I played the first Walking Dead trying to save Booker the entire time, or whatever. I think it was Booker. The entire time, he loses an arm no matter what you do, and then he dies at the end no matter what. Like there's no branching anything. Anyway, let's not rant about Telltale.
People love that first season of Walking Dead, dude.
Though I think the first season of Walking Dead is fine. It's also, after playing that, I think I went and played. Remember they did, speaking of Monkey Island, they did those like newer versions of them on Xbox Live Arcade or whatever. I went and played those immediately after and was like, oh my, these are such better games. Like it's like night and day. But anyway, so
I digress.
But like there's way more gameplay in this. There's way more puzzle solving, figuring stuff out, like having conversations that actually matter, that people are going to respond to inside the game, that isn't just like, somebody brings
dialogue
up a line. Exactly.
Difference.
Somebody brings up a line of dialogue later that reminds you that you made a decision that you were kind of an asshole or something.
But the end result is
always the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You play as this woman who is a former police officer, and she's now a private eye. It's a very familiar trope. But the way they do it, in a video game, I don't really think there's not a lot of that kind of, there's a lot of that stuff in film and TV shows, but there's not a lot of that kind of detective stuff in video games. And most detective stuff is just an excuse for you to go beat people up in most video games. This is way more like you are actually doing detective solving stuff. You're going to crime scenes, you're going through like text messages, text logs, things like that, all in this like really nicely rendered and really prettily lit 8-bit style that is really striking. The voice acting is phenomenal. Everyone is Chinese or like some form of Chinese because you're in Singapore. So there's like, it's all in English, but they have like what sounds to be like a realistic dialect of English. Where
is there
like,
voice acting or is it all text?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean is it's voice acted. It sounds good. Like it sounds like real Chinese people doing, not like fake accents. Like a lot of times you'll see Chinese Americans doing like fake accents inside of a Chinese movie, like an American movie. And that always sounds fake to me, but this sounds like real Chinese people doing like American or speaking English. So the voice acting is really good. It also lends it an air of authenticity. And it's just got this really nice, moody detective story that I'm really vibing with. And it's pretty short from what I can tell. I think it's like 5 hours, 6 hours long. Okay. So something you can like get into and then kind of blast through. I'm going to finish it. I think I'm about like halfway through at the moment, but
okay.
Really digging it.
I'm going to share this image that I just pulled up of the game real quick, just to kind of like this right here gives off such Blade Runner vibes.
Yeah, it's definitely going for, that's like Blade Runner, the Blade Runner 2078 or whatever too.
Yeah, like I could not, like, you can't get more Blade Runner than that.
I mean, basically anything that's set in like a cyberpunk future is going to be cribbing from Blade Runner, unless they do something completely different. But
especially like the giant holographic advertisement with an Asian lady like standing there with looking all hair. Yeah, like it's so Blade Runner, and that's if you're gonna take from a piece of sci-fi media, that's the one to go for. Like if maybe you're gonna go for it,
influential. Yeah, and that's what the game looks like too. Like you're going through that city and exploring it and interacting with the people of that city, and it's very cool.
Got some replicants running around
there. It's weird because there's AI. Like the whole thing is about rampant AI, but it's not really like it is kind of robot-y stuff, but you'd have to see it. They do it a little bit different than Blade Runner. It's not as not violent, but like because there is violence, but it's just a different spin on that kind of tale.
Is there combat?
No.
Okay, so it's all just detective and point and click adventure.
Yeah, it's like almost all the old point and click adventure games where there's not, like, if there's combat, it's like a quick time event. Because even the old Blade Runner adventure game, which is amazing, by the way, and you should definitely play it. It's one of my favorite games. I love that game. It's one of the first adventure games I played. Even that game had like shooting, but you're just dragging your mouse around the screen and shooting at things with a cursor that turns into a crosshair. And I remember back when I played it, it's very frustrating. Action in adventure games is almost universally bad, so most of the time they just don't bother with it. But yeah, so this game does not have that or anything.
Okay. Yeah, definitely seems like something I could get into.
It's very good.
I used to love the old LucasArts adventure games. And this seems, they've come a long way in adventure games since then. I've gone back and tried to play a couple of the old LucasArts games, like Maniac Mansion, and the old Sam and Max games, and they don't feel as good as I remember them feeling. After playing modern adventure games where they've kind of streamlined a lot of that stuff, going back to those is tough. They haven't aged as well as I thought they did.
That's why I like the new Monkey Island remakes, because they you could go back to the Scum like style where it had like, pick up like the 40 different actions on the bottom row, or you could go to the modern version, which was just like click on something and it has like a context sensitive icon that morphs with whatever you're trying to, like if you're trying to pick up an object, it'll go to the pickup screen. If you're trying to like talk to somebody, it'll switch to talk to. Like that kind of interface. I think this is what this game also has, that kind of interface, and I think that works for our modern sensibilities just so much better than trying to have like the action bar at the bottom that you're picking items out of. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot, dude. And half the time it's like these like really vague icons on the bottom that like you don't know what they actually mean. Like it'll be a hand, but that hand will mean either pick up or slap or twist. Like it'll mean like 40 different things.
A lot of times you'd have to like pixel hunt. And most modern ones have like either like a shiny thing that pops up when you can interact with it, or your cursor changes when you drag over it, which is what this game does. It would probably work on like the Switch. I don't think there's any reason why it couldn't. I don't know if it's on the Switch or not, but like
you mean like in handheld mode, like tapping, or do you mean like using the
you
cursor?
Could drag your thumb as a cursor, or your thumbstick. But I think there's something to like a point and click game that you do with the mouse. Like it just feels better to me. Because I played like Sam and Max on the Xbox 360, or not Sam and Max, Monkey Island, and that's not the way to play. It's better. It's definitely better with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I looked at this one the other day and I thought about downloading it, but then I'm glad I didn't, because you did, and I downloaded Hyperlight Drifter instead. Because I'm happy with that choice, I will say.
Yeah.
I do want to play this game eventually though, but yeah, I can get it anytime because it's on Game Pass.
Game Pass continues to be by far the best value in video games.
Yeah, it's like that announcement for the new PlayStation stuff came out, and then that like nobody's talking about it anymore. People still 2 years later are talking about Game Pass all the time. Like
it's not even comparable.
Not at all. Yeah. So overall, if you had to give it a rating, what are you thinking right now? Like a 1 to 10?
To me, it's like a 7.5, because it's not going to be for everybody. But if you're looking for this type of game, it's one of the better ones of those that I've seen the past few years. I like this style of game, and if you don't like it, you're not going to like it. But if you're into something like this and you want that kind of, if you're into like noirish mysteries and cyberpunk type stuff, but not necessarily like an action vibe. The reason I downloaded it originally was because I was like, I'm in like a mood where I just want to chill with something and not like, not do any twitch reflexes or worry about surviving or whatever. Like, I just want to kind of vibe with something. And this was literally, I couldn't tell you how perfect it was. I was just like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. So if you're in that kind of mood and you feel like that kind of chill vibe and you want
a little cozy game action,
little like maybe if you're doing some stuff that makes your senses enhanced a little bit, then you can vibe with this kind of game.
So you were stoned.
I'm not saying that I was, but I'm not saying that I wasn't either.
Oh goodness. Well,
it is a perfect stoner game because you can just chill, like, it's because of the context sensitive like cursor changes and stuff. You can kind of zone out and you're never going to be confused about what you're supposed to do, because you can just, you can be confused about what you're supposed to do, but if you're on a screen, you're like, just keep clicking until something happens, and the mood of it all, I think, just works. It just vibes really well.
How's the soundtrack?
It's good. I wouldn't say that it's like if you're looking for a Blade Runner-esque soundtrack, it's not that. Like, it doesn't have that. I feel like it'd be kind of dumb to try to copy that. Like, the visuals are already there. You don't want to do like this Vangelis style score where it's like a saxophone in the background that lifts every time they go through a neon light. But it's good. It fits the mood of the thing. It's not Hyperlight Drifter, but what is when it comes to soundtracks.
I feel like a Hyperlight Drifter type soundtrack would go good with this style of game.
It does. It's synth heavy and has like that kind of thing. There's just not a lot of music in it. Because when you're in the like gameplay itself, when you're searching around, when you're doing the detective stuff, there's not really any music. So it's really only in the cutscenes and like when you're talking to people sometimes that you get a little bit of that music. Like when you're traveling in between areas, there's music. You can get on a train, and it has like, or subway, there's like nice stuff there, but it doesn't like stand out in my mind or anything as anything incredible.
Nothing super special about that,
but just fits. It fits the vibe of the whole game.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that is Chinatown Detective Agency. Trying to go through and see which one I should talk about here, because I've played a lot of games that I haven't played before. I think what I want to talk about though is some Gloomhaven.
Okay.
I have been on a serious board game kick lately, especially since we played that round of Descent last week. And speaking of which, are you in for this Sunday?
Maybe it depends on when we get back from Salisbury.
Okay. Yeah, we are. We did that round of Descent a couple Sundays ago. But I really want to play some more games that are board game mechanics heavy, RPG style games. And I've heard a lot about Gloomhaven, and for the past like 2 years, I've been thinking about buying the actual board game. But then now I've got this PC, and I can play it by myself and not have to like depend on having to be able to get a group of people together. I can play now a D&D style board game anytime I want. And Gloomhaven it's scratching that itch. I started playing a few nights ago. I've done a couple of dungeons every night since then.
Okay.
Basically, it is a board game dungeon crawler completely on your PC, which is fucking fantastic. So one of the biggest issues with these dungeon crawler type of games, playing them in person, is the setup. Like having to have 80,000 different pieces that you're having to set up every time you want to play the game. It's so convenient to be able to have the board in place already, and then whenever you open a door for the next room of the dungeon, it's there. So, all the pieces are there.
So it doesn't look like a video game. It looks like a board game.
Yeah, it's got hexagonal or hexagonal. I don't know. Fuck. It's got the board already there. It's got the enemies set up on the board. You're drawing your cards that you want to play.
Are the figures animated?
Yes, they do animate, and okay. it does add a layer of immersion into it, even beyond playing it as a board game.
Does it build out as you like? You know how when we're playing, like you open that door and
it does yes, it builds exactly like that. And
so you see the pieces like fall down and like
no, like it like they kind of just like appear. They don't fall down. Like that would be cool. That would be a cool animation, but no, they appear, and then like the bad guys appear. And it all. One thing that's not a thing in Descent that is in this is initiative. So like all the different cards have
roll
different
for initiative.
Yeah, so you don't roll for initiative in this game. So your movement and your attack and your actions are all on this like deck of cards that you have for your character, and you don't have to draw them randomly. They're all laid out in a column, and then you pick 2 of those cards that you're going to use for your turn. Each of those cards has a movement action and an ability action on there. And you draw 2 cards, and on each turn you are doing the movement action from one card and the ability action from the other card. And each of those cards you have also has an initiative. Whichever card you draw first, that's the initiative that you get. So whether you want to go first or last in the turn, if you want to go first in the turn, you want to pull a card that's got very low initiative, because the lower your initiative score, the quicker you're going to go in your turn. If you want the enemies to move closer to you, so then you can do an action and get to them, then you want to draw a higher number initiative, so you go last. Okay. And it's definitely different mechanics than in Descent, but it's similar enough to where once you learn the biology of the cards, then you can really get into it and know what you're doing. And if you've played Descent, you'll know how to play this game. It's very playing it solo is interesting. I'm going through the one thing that they have in the digital version that they don't have in the board game version is this mode called Guildmaster mode, where it's actually basically a tutorial quest line where you are going through and recruiting every class type into your party. And so after each mission, basically each mission is kind of like a little mini tutorial of how to play each class, which you don't get in the board game, which I think it's very helpful in this game. I have done the brute, I've done the ranger, I've done the mage.
And as you recruit them, you then get to play as that class, so you learn how to play that class.
Yes, but I haven't done it. I'm still in the guildmaster mode. I'm still recruiting. I don't know how many classes there are, but I'm still just playing individual tutorial missions for each class at the moment.
So you don't know what it's like when you go to the regular scenario mode and they build a scenario for you and you are just questing like you would if you were playing the regular game?
Yeah, I haven't started the campaign yet. Okay. Which I'm very interested to do that, but it's this game is very mechanics heavy, and I'm trying to do all these tutorials before I start that first actual quest. Yeah. Because there's a lot that goes into it. There's mechanics that Descent doesn't have. Like there's this one thing called infusing, where you basically, there are certain abilities that will infuse the entire map with a certain element, whether that's dark or fire or water or whatever. And then your other characters will have abilities that will be boosted based on whatever the environment is infused with. So there's a lot of synergies that go into just different types of tactics for this. And so it would be really interesting, I think, to get a group or a few people together to try to like get together and see how you can mash this up together and see what happens. But doing it solo, I'm still figuring all that stuff out. But so far, my favorite class has definitely been the Ranger, because you know how I said there's like an ability section and a movement section on the cards. A lot of the Ranger cards will have either multiple attacks on the top half of the card, or it'll be a move and an attack on the top half of the card. So you get a movement and an attack plus an extra movement. So like really good at doing a lot of damage and getting the fuck out of there.
So you're combining those cards in tactical ways, just like you would in, say, the Descent or something like that. Like you want them to synergize with each other to make your turn as powerful and also safe as you can, right? Like
but then once you use those cards, they go into a discard pile and you can't use them again until you take a rest. And then when you take a rest, you have to burn a card. Burn a card from your discard pile, or burn 2 cards from your draw pile in order to basically restock your deck.
So what happens to those cards?
They are unplayable for the rest of the mission.
Oh, but then you go out of like the dungeon and you get them back.
Yeah, but it definitely makes it's another tactical step that you have to think about.
It's so you can't just like rest every 30 steps and then have all your cards back, right? I see.
Yeah, but I mean, you only have like starting out 6 to 8 cards that you're drawing from, so you have to rest every few turns, which means you're burning through your cards and they'll go away. And then like you also have to think about not only what abilities on them, but what's the initiative number on them. Because it's like, well, I could burn this shitty card, but it's got a really low initiative. If I want to go first, I need to keep that card.
Right. There's a layer of tactics on top of all that.
There's a lot of tactical layers into this game, and it's really fun to think about. Like even going through these tutorial missions, there's a couple of them where I've failed twice before I beat the tutorial mission for each character. And it's because it's set up almost like a puzzle box. Like it's like there's a way to do this, and you have to figure out what the steps are to get through. Because in the tutorials, it'll be like, all right, you need to defeat all the people in this room and then pick up all the gold in this room in 1 turn. And there's a specific card order and setup that you would have to do in order to do that. Anything else won't work.
That might just be like in the tutorial because they're trying to teach you how to maximize each turn.
Exactly. Right? But then I'm thinking about it like once you get into the game, you have to be thinking in that same mindset, because otherwise you'll get swarmed or you'll burn a wrong card and you'll be fucked. So I've heard this game is very punishing. So I think you have to be very careful in the decisions you make.
Sure.
So it's definitely one that's going to require a lot of thought and a lot of practice, and one that I really cannot wait to dive more into.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
I've thought about streaming it, but then I'm like, I don't know if that's a good streaming game because it's going to be a lot of me sitting there like, what the fuck do I need to do next turn?
Yeah, very slow, but also very rewarding. I think those are hard. Those are hard games to stream, but I also think the audience that likes that stuff, they're there for that anyway. So
I think if you jumped in or if I had somebody jump in with me, I think it'd be a good game to stream.
Yeah.
But I think solo, I don't think it's a good streaming game. I think you need multiplayers and you need those conversations to be able to get a good stream out of that.
I just bought it. So
yeah. Hell yeah.
And Vampire Survivors for $269.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Hell
Boom.
yeah. All right. Good deal. But yeah, that's Gloomhaven. I haven't decided. I really like the mage class. Like there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of elemental and fusion that goes into that. Apparently that's one of the much harder classes to handle because there is an extra layer of tactical thought that rolls into having to infuse and know which cards to burn with that. But I think the ranger class is the one I want to go with so far because there's like poison damage. There's like they're very mobile. You know, I'm all about some mobility characters.
Hell yeah. Well, you sold me on it. That sounds fucking awesome.
It's great. It's like Descent without the hour of setup before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we should definitely jump into that. But yeah, have you been playing anything else?
Mostly retro games. I've been playing Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, messing with my Ambernick and my Steam Link, trying to get RetroArch working, basically getting ready for the Steam Deck to come out because that's going to be the next big thing for me. But that's I've been playing a lot of classic games. We're in that lull right now, so I'm really trying to. I have an idea for a story I want to do. Speaking of the gaming and drinking website, where I want to play through all of the Final Fantasies from 1 all the way through to hopefully finish like right when 16 is about to come out because it's supposed to come out sometime this year. I don't think a
lot of Final Fantasy, dude.
I don't think I'll get through all that, but I do want to play through 1 through 6 because all those pixel remasters just came out. And I kind of want to play through those on the Steam Deck, but I'm probably just going to play through like 1, 2, and 3 and probably 4 on the Ambernick, like the classic SNES style versions. I'll have some hacks that I'm going to use that make maybe the stuff a little bit smoother. But I'm going to finish Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, and then I'm going to work on that project. I think that'd be a fun thing to write up. Just like my experiences with the pixel art, like pre 3D Final Fantasies.
Hell yeah.
1 through 6 would be fun. So look for that in the future. That's one thing I'm going to be working on because I played them all before. And I played 4 probably once every year, but I haven't played 1 and 2, 3, 5, or 6 in probably 10 years. So
okay,
it'll be interesting.
Hell yeah. I bought Final Fantasy, like the original NES cartridge a couple years ago, and I was playing it on what the hell was that thing called?
The Retron 5.
Retron, yeah. I was playing on the Retron, and then that thing just shit the bed on me. Because it's made out of like the cheapest parts I've ever seen.
Piece of junk.
Yeah, but I still have the cart, and so I need to find like a working NES to play that on. Because I do have that CRT out in my living room that I would love to.
That would be so dope. The music in that game is so good, and seeing that game on a CRT brings back memories.
Hell yeah. So I've been playing a couple other games. I think I'll hold off on talking about most of them. One thing I did want to touch on, because we were talking about this in the break, was I have been trying to play some more Dragon Quest 11. Been having
Great
some
video game.
I know. I want to keep playing it, but I've been having some issues that I don't know how to fix, and it is getting to the point where I can't play the game. So when I open it up, I get the opening cutscene and the music starts playing and everything's fine. And then when I load into my game, the audio is gone. It is muted 100%. And I've gone into the audio settings. I've got all the audio turned up. I've made sure my output settings on my Windows end are good. But there is just absolutely no audio in the game. None. And I don't know what that could be. I've tried to find Reddit threads. It's I don't know. I uninstalled it and reinstalled it. Same issue popped up. I don't think I can finish Dragon Quest 11 because of this glaring issue.
That's so weird. Okay, so I just looked it up. It seems to be exclusive to Game Pass. Weird,
Really?
bizarre bug. Yeah. The Steam does not seem to have. Steam has stuttering and stuff like that, but the sound where you're talking about where the game doesn't play at all seems to be a Game Pass issue.
That's crazy. Like, how do they not have that fixed? That is a huge problem. I've played enough of that game to where I want to complete it. And all of a sudden, like, the weirdest thing is that the audio plays just fine on the opening cutscene, but then even at the main menu, like as soon as I get past that opening cutscene, the main menu audio is gone.
I do have one scenario that you can try. Re-download DirectX.
Okay.
That seems to be the thing that a lot of people are saying works.
Okay. I'll try that.
Try to re-download your DirectX drivers, which like if DirectX for some reason gets itself messed up in some way, it will mess up so many different things. DirectX is very powerful set of software, but like all these issues can arise from it all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've had to reinstall DirectX and then shit just works.
Okay. I'll give that a shot and I will keep you posted next week.
It's such a weird thing. Like it's weird how Game Pass has like these very specific issues that are only on Game Pass. Like I remember when Halo Infinite came out, I had the like HD textures installed and the game wouldn't launch because of that. And I looked at it and it was like, this is only a Game Pass issue. It doesn't happen on Steam. But if you launch the game with HD textures installed, it will like not load. And so I had to delete the HD textures. It's like, what's the point of having the hardware I have if I can't play with HD textures? But they fixed that bug after, but it's weird that you can have like, you would think it'd be the same install, right? But apparently it's not. Like there's two different versions of these games, the one on Steam and the one on Game Pass.
That's so weird. It doesn't make any sense to me, but like, obviously we are laymen when it comes to that.
Yeah, that's true. I know that one thing that had an issue was because Game Pass used to hide the game files so that you couldn't like mod them or do anything with them. Like you didn't own the game. So they were like, these are hidden from you. But now, because like Microsoft bought Bethesda, they want you to be able to mod PC games. Cause like, what's the point of having a PC if you're not going to do mods for them?
Are they going to let you mod Bethesda games?
You can, they fix all
on
that.
Xbox.
So, yeah. So you can mod on Xbox as well, like the Xbox, but on PC, you can now see your install path. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you install Game Pass games, they give you an option and a directory option now, which they used to not do that. So most of them by default now install it like Xbox games or C, / Xbox games, which before they were just hidden. You couldn't even see them. But now they install like an Xbox games directory. So they're working on it. They're getting there. That's good because they need to do that. They need to make them moddable.
I mean, I think within the next couple of years, hopefully they will have this Xbox Game Pass bug issue that I think a lot of games have had down to a minimum, because it seems to be like a lot of the better games on on Game Pass have issues that are only linked to Game Pass.
Yep. Definitely have more than once.
So if I can't fix this Dragon Quest 11 stuff, though, I'm not going to be able to finish that game, and I'm not going to buy it if I'm just not going to waste my money
halfway through on one save and starting over.
Yeah. But anyways, hey, what do you say we take one more break and then come back and lock this thing down?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. We will be right back with a little bit more booze and a little bit more games.
Boom.
Sprayed all over my face.
Just the way you like it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Nice and foamy. Welcome back, everybody, to Gaming and Drinking episode 17. I am Adam, that is Travis, and we are here to make sweet love to your ear holes.
It's always with the ear holes
and eyeballs. I forgot to intro the show with the ASMR. I meant to do that.
Well, I'm glad that you forgot, because I feel like that would have been strange.
Well, I said I was going to do it last week. I guess it'll just have to be saved for episode 18.
Oh, God.
Oh, you love it. You love it.
It sounds more like we're doing like bad NPR than ASMR.
BNPR instead of ASMR.
Yeah. G&D BNPR.
G&D BNPR.
Hey, that might be something. That could be like a separate podcast. Patreon, $5 and up, you get the G&D BPNR,
where we literally do a podcast with nothing but very
Whisper.
soft speaking.
Just we got over here. We got a little bit of Chrono Cross in this corner. Got a little bit.
I've been playing Microsoft Solitaire.
Actually, it's like the perfect game to play for. We
could talk about Minesweeper on hard.
No one wants to talk about Minesweeper on hard.
I love me some Minesweeper. Don't get it twisted. On hard. Fuck yeah, on hard. Dude, I can fuck some Minesweeper up on hard. I'm not even kidding.
You can beat Minesweeper on hard?
Yep.
Let me see it.
I'll stream it. I'll
stream
it.
You need to do that, but you have to talk.
Dude, oh my God.
You have to talk in the
in the NPR voice?
In the NPR voice the whole time.
That's gonna happen. That is now a thing. That is gonna happen. I'm gonna play Minesweeper in my NPR voice.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be amazing.
On hard.
People are gonna hate the shit out of me, but I don't care. It's gonna be great.
Get extra drunk before you do it, so you get frustrated while you're doing it.
Oh man. Nah, but
that's not why we're here. What's that?
Oh, we're not. So yeah, I actually, this one is in a crowler or a growler. I don't know what it's a
crowler.
Crowler.
It's a can.
It's a crowler. Yeah. So one of the breweries that I distribute is Hazelwood.
Fantastic.
And they really are. They're in Lexington, South Carolina. Matt, the owner / head brewer, is a friend of mine. And I went over there to get some samples today. He gave me this one. It is called Constellations. Really, there's no can art. This is just their crowler can. But it is a Belgian strong brewed with their own local hops. Matt has been growing hops since he was 15. And amongst other things similar to hops. So yeah, they do a great set of all locally sourced stuff. So they've got their local hops, and I don't know if it's local malts or not, but yeah, Constellations, Belgian strong, 7.1%, right over there in Lexington.
My friend Brandy's favorite beer.
Yeah, Brandy Blue.
Yep.
Oh, that's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and malty. It's got like a smoky on the back end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Triple. I got her for Christmas one year. I got her the barrel aged, like it was aged in like a cherry wine or no cherry something. So I gave it like a fruity cherry flavor on top of the triple. It was really good.
So it was like a Constellations, like a cherry Constellations.
It was like barrel aged cherry Constellations. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Nice. Yeah. So if you ever get the chance, they only do kegs. They don't do any kind of can distribution. But if you are ever in the Midlands of South Carolina and you find a place that has Hazelwood, which a lot of them do because people love it around here, definitely try whatever Hazelwood they got, and you're not going to go wrong with anything they've got.
You'll be happy with it.
Yeah, so Constellations is definitely a good one. They've got several other ones that are coming out next week that I will probably be sampling as well. But anyways, we only have a couple more things to talk about as far as games go. One of which is this new Kingdom Hearts, dog.
So let me ask you something, Adam. Did you play Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, I bought the entire package for
Me too.
$60.
And I was gonna replay starting from 1,
I
and I got
started
about
with
halfway through 1, and it was like, this game fucking sucks.
I was so pissed at 1 that
sucked.
like I didn't even continue it. I owned
So
the first 3.
I've beaten 2.
I
beat
beaten
2
2 as well when I was a
came out,
kid.
and
Yeah.
it's a great game. I really like that game. 1 sucks. I got to the Ursula Kingdom, the Little Mermaid. It is some of the most frustrating level design I've ever seen.
I think I got to the Aladdin level.
That one's also sucks. They all suck. That game's terrible. 2, I remember being very good. But the reason I didn't play 2 leading into 3 is because I was like, I have really fond memories of this game. I feel like if I play it again, it's gonna shatter this.
Might ruin it. Also, like they've gotten so out there with the story.
See, I don't mind that stuff. I think that stuff's fun.
Like, I do too, but it's like, do I have to play like every single Kingdom Hearts to know what? No,
you just watch a really good recap. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna watch a really good recap and then play through 2 again, and then play 3 leading up to 4.
Are you gonna play through 2 and ruin your memories?
I'm gonna start it, and if it sucks, then I'm gonna stop and just play through 3.
Okay, I think that's a better idea.
Yeah.
But now today, we have this new trailer that came out for Kingdom Hearts 4, and it looks to me like Kingdom Hearts 4, aka Final Fantasy 17.
Sora has regular feet now.
Sora has regular feet. There's a lot of Final Fantasy ass shit going on in there.
It doesn't look Final Fantasy to me so much as why don't you bring up that trailer so the listeners.
So I'm just gonna show what we got going on here.
It looks to me a little more like a kid in King Arthur's court, kind of, because he looks like he's in like New York City, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. It looks like New York. And the thing that blew my mind the most, the reason I say Final Fantasy instead of Kingdom Hearts is these realistic graphics they've got. And also the character designs. They've completely changed Sora's character design. Sora
looks like a Final Fantasy character, more of a Final Fantasy character than he already did.
Yes, like he looked like a 10 to 12-ish Final Fantasy, like a 9 to 12-ish Final Fantasy character. Now he looks like a modern, like 15 Final Fantasy character.
But then they go to these, like the Disney scenes look very Kingdom Hearts-ish. Like that.
But look at Sora right there, dude.
Yeah, Sora looks straight up. He looks like Noctis.
Yeah, he does. He looks like, and also they took away all his chains, all his wallet chains, which I'm really upset about.
Is that Kairi? That can't be.
I don't know, dude. I don't know anything about these stories anymore, dude. But where are his wallet chains? That's my question. Why is he
in New York? This is Quadratum.
Quadratum.
Oh, it looks that part looks more like Tokyo, I guess. I guess it could be Tokyo, but it doesn't look anything like the fantasy. It's almost like the new Matrix where Neo is in like the real world.
Yeah, but tell me this guy doesn't look like Calamity Ganon, whatever he raises up.
I mean, that's what the Heartless look like in the games too. That actually looks more like the games than any of this other stuff. I almost feel like none of this.
Yes, he does look like it looks like a Heartless Calamity Ganon.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like none of this is going to be in the actual game because they've already said this is built in Unreal 4 and they're going to move to Unreal 3 after.
The running looks very Sora. That's like his physicality. Yeah, his physicality still looks like Sora.
And the Keyblade looks like a Keyblade.
Oh hell yeah! But dude, this mobility looks better than any Kingdom Hearts I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, if the chain stuff, I mean, this is all like basically not real at this point. This is not a game yet. So
I mean, it's coming out next year, but apparently
but I'm sure it's all going to change. Like, I bet this world isn't even in the game.
Oh, it is. It 100% is.
I don't know.
They wouldn't put something in, like an entire environment and world that's not going to be in the game at all, dude. I don't know any game developer that's done that.
Oh, but like this isn't even the Disney stuff. So like they didn't show any Disney shit in there. But it's almost like they didn't want to pay for the Disney license.
The end though? Did you see the end?
With Donald
Japanese Goofy and Donald?
Yeah, Donald and Goofy. Yeah, but
I love hearing Japanese Goofy. I wish I could play it, but I don't want to get DMCA'd. He's like, I'm not even gonna try.
You should definitely try. You should do it on camera for everyone.
Yes. All right. Done. Gru.
That's Goofy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought you were doing Donald.
Oh, hell no.
That wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say it's coming out in 20. Where did you get 2023 from? Because I didn't hear that.
Oh, I thought I saw it was coming out in 2023.
I don't think that. I don't know, but I didn't.
No, I'm probably wrong. What was I thinking
of? Probably that.
I think I was thinking. Nope. I think I was thinking of Hyperlight Breaker. Yeah,
the early access is 2023. That's true.
Yep. But yeah, so the reason we bring that up is to lead into the NVIDIA leaks, which came out last year, but continue to prove themselves right.
Yeah, so Chrono Cross was rumored. That's come out. Kingdom Hearts 4 was a big one on there. That is now confirmed. They've predicted God of War Ragnarok, or the God of War and Horizon ports PC on versions. PC. They've basically everything that they've leaked has come to fruition. There's some things to take with a grain of salt. Like most of these things are prototypes, so even if the companies are working on them,
they could get canceled.
Exactly. Because there's the Injustice 3, Mortal Kombat 12 thing, and I can almost guarantee you that NetherRealm was just working on one or the other and not both. But they're probably prototyping both, so that's why they're both on that list.
I hope it's Injustice 3.
I do too. Fuck, I hope it's Injustice 3.
Those games are so good.
I'll take Mortal Kombat 12 though. I love Mortal Kombat 11. That game was so fucking good. So, but some of the more interesting ones, Final Fantasy 9 Remake, because we just got a remaster of 9 last year, or 2 years ago, I think, and it was just a straight port with a little bit of quality of life stuff, kind of like the Chrono Cross remaster. But this seems to be more. People are saying like remake, but I don't expect it to be a Final Fantasy 7 remake style.
I mean, thing. I would if they
haven't even finished Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Dude, Square Enix is gonna do whatever the fuck they want at whatever pace they want. Like that is, if we know one thing about Square, it's that they say "fuck you" to everybody. We do what we want.
But I mean, 9 is a beloved game, but I don't feel like it's as beloved as like 8. Why wouldn't you do, if you're gonna do remakes of all of them, do 8 first and then do 9? Like,
because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, I guess that's true. 8 is a very beloved game, although some people hate it. But I think for the most part, people have really come around on that game.
I don't know what the, like, I know that Square, they don't pay attention to just their American audience. They also pay attention a lot to their Japanese audience.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Japanese memories of 7, 8, and 9 are.
Yeah.
It might be different over there. It might be a different story over there as far as like what they expect from them as far as the remasters and remakes go, though.
It's also weird that, I mean, this is the company that put out a remaster of the sequel to a game that they do not have a remaster for on any of the systems that they put the sequel out on. They put out Chrono Cross remastered, but you can't play Chrono Trigger even on the SNES like virtual emulator that they have on the Switch. There's no way to play Chrono Cross except illegally or with SNES hardware. Like there's literally no way to play it. But
well,
it's one of the most...
no. You can play it on DS.
Steam, DS and Steam. Yeah, that's right.
DS, Steam,
and the PS1
and mobile. You played on mobile for like $10.
Yeah, but who's gonna play?
I know, but that's that in their head they're like everybody can play this at this point.
I'm saying like I guess for a Japanese audience, mobile is one way to go, but to have it, the Chrono Cross came out on PS4 and Switch. And there's no way to play the previous game in the series on those platforms when all they had to do was slap the ROM out and people would pay $20 for it. You know, they would. They'd do it right the fuck now. Like it would sell like crazy.
Could you imagine? I know this is just me spitballing, but could you imagine if they remade Chrono Trigger?
That would be nuts. I'd love that.
It would. They should. Why don't they? Is the question.
I would rather them do it in like a PS2 style, like. Not quite like I don't want it to be Final Fantasy 7 remake, although that would be fucking cool as shit too. Don't get me wrong. I would take.
You want it to still be turn-based.
Yeah, but I'll take like, but I'm saying like make it look like a PS2 game, not necessarily like a modern PS5 game. Although only because I feel like it would take way too long. But give me a PS5 version of Chrono, that would look dope as shit. So.
Right, dude. Chrono, even with him being a SNES sprite, is still one of the coolest looking characters that has ever existed.
He's very cool looking. Yeah, we're just giving Square money here. I don't know why they're not taking our advice. But anyway, so the leaks are going. there's some cool stuff that yeah, very nice. There's some cool stuff on that list from God, what's some of the stuff that Final Fantasy Tactics remake? That's one of the rumors. Which when we saw that PlayStation conference and they showed that game that was totally Final Fantasy Tactics in everything but name, I thought that's what that was because that was a big rumor because of the NVIDIA leaks. That's been rumored for a while now.
Well, now they've got Tactics Ogre.
Yeah, Tactics Ogre
in the leak as well.
And the Tactics Ogre is funny because they just renewed the trademark on Tactics Ogre like last week. So it's also gonna happen. That's probably true as well. So there's a lot. Basically, everything in this list is coming to fruition.
Who did this? Who at NVIDIA decided that this needs to happen?
Like, I think it was an accident.
You think it was a hack? Do you think it was a hack?
I think somebody scraped it off one of their servers. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I can't remember the exact details of it, but yeah, I think somebody scraped it off their server after somebody accidentally uploaded like basically what they had been working on or some kind of master list, I think. Because that like in order to use the technology, they have to share their information with NVIDIA. So this is just a master list of stuff people are working on, and it all got fucking leaked. So
jeez, it's so much, dude. Like you got Valve, Sony, Square, Take-Two, Sega, EA, Warner Brothers, Capcom, Microsoft, Bandai Namco, Konami, and then at the bottom is the rest. The rest is City Skylines 2, Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled. That came out, right?
Yeah, that came out.
Crisis 4.
That's already been announced.
Earth Defense Force 6, Metro Next, Talos Principle 2, Time Splitters 2 Remastered, Titan Quest 2, and the 2. Wreckfest sequel. That's the rest. But like you think about all these devs and publishers that are in this list of things that got leaked. That's fucking huge. These are like the biggest developers in the world. Yeah. All of them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit. And it's been proven time after time to be factual.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what's coming in the next few years and you don't want to wait for E3
or whatever E3 is now.
Yeah, if you don't want to wait for E3 2023, if that's ever going to actually happen, just take a look at this NVIDIA leak, and you'll know what's coming.
Yeah. What do you want to see? What do you want to see out of that?
The biggest one for me, oh man, that's tough. I really like you said that the Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HDs were already announced.
No, they did them for PS3. So I'm thinking they're
But I'm guessing they're going to be a very, very like much higher HD remake than that.
My thoughts now, because of what happened with Sony last week, are that those running on modern hardware.
Just running?
Well, with the new PS Plus thing they announced. Like getting them running on a PS5 is what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love for them to do, because there's been a rumor for a Metal Gear Solid remake for the past 5 years. And it still hasn't. The Blue Point was supposed to be making that. Now they're doing something else. So who the fuck knows what is actually going on there. But 2 and 3, I mean, it makes sense, but 2 and 3 were also PS2 games, and those are coming natively to PS5 with the new PS Plus stuff. So that's what I think that stuff is. Okay. The remakes were released on PS2 and PS3. So
yeah. I mean, honestly, like the Square Enix stuff, like any kind of like old school JRPG I'm excited about. And it's like basically everything in the Square Enix list is all some kind of iteration JRPGs on the old school JRPG stuff. You got Chrono Cross Remaster, obviously already a thing. Final Fantasy VII Remake, already a thing. I think I might be most excited about the Final Fantasy IX Remake.
That's the one for me. I just want to know what it is. I want to know
exactly. I want to know what kind of remake they're doing. If it's the Final Fantasy VII style, fuck yeah, let's go. If it's turn-based, but then they just bring it fidelity-wise into the modern age, then fuck yeah, I'm down with that too.
Super down with that. I'd be super like new sprites, but basically the same game. Like I'd be so down with that.
Would you want sprites or would you want like 3D models?
Like 3D new 3D models, because that game's in complete 3D. I think with 2D backgrounds, but maybe give us 3D backgrounds with new 3D models. I'd be so down with that.
Do you want it to be on? I wanted to come in like a 4-disc case.
Yeah.
It's like one of them loads.
If I could buy like the Switch version, but it came in like a jewel case, like like this, but with just like one Switch cartridge in it, and then the rest of it's just like collectible stuff, I'd be down with that.
Oh, that'd be great.
I would totally. But Square's too dumb to do that shit. They don't know what they have with the nostalgia for their old games.
Well, dude, I'm a member of like there's like a Final Fantasy store on like the Square Enix page. I get emails about like different Final Fantasy collectibles.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't want tchotchkes. I want like stuff that looks like. I want the cases for. I have the cases for all the original games over there, but stuff that is like reminiscent of that. I don't necessarily want like a Cloud, a minifig or something like that. I want stuff that.
No, it's not. It's not stuff like that. It's weird stuff, man. It's Square Enix. Like it's like nobody would think of this but Square Enix. The one that comes to mind first is there is an alarm clock that I almost bought. That is literally Cloud's sword.
Oh, I thought you were about to say a different word. Cloud's
big arm.
Yeah, that.
No, Cloud's sword stuck in the stone, like on the main menu screen.
Yeah.
And like it's the time on the rock, and then Cloud's sword, and then I guess his sword is the snooze button. How cool is that? It's so stupid, and it's something that only Square would think of.
That is pretty good, though.
But it's so expensive. Dude, the Square Enix.
They don't sell anything cheap there.
The Square Enix store is ridiculously expensive. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, there is a Stranger of Paradise Jack Garland action figure.
Oh my god!
On there for pre-order for $240.
Can't wait to
the Final Fantasy. Listen to this. Okay, so no, the alarm clock, the clock time is actually on the sword itself.
Okay.
But guess how much this clock costs, dude?
$240.
$199.99.
So stupid.
It's insane, dude. You could get a Kingdom Hearts Sora plush for $45.
Not worth it. Fuck Sora.
A plush, a $45 plush. Like it's absolutely insane. Oh goodness. But yeah, anyways, that's enough of that. Wait, well, I think this is a keychain. I think it's a Keyblade keychain for $60.
That's not okay.
Maybe it's because they're shipping from Japan. I don't know, dude.
No, it's because they charge ridiculous amounts for all of their stuff.
You could get the Chocobo and Friends vinyl for $73 as well.
Oh, did I tell? I don't know if we talked about it on here, but I got tickets to the 25th, or is it 30th? I think it's 25th.
Oh yeah, the Final Fantasy
30th
concerto.
Anniversary. Yeah, Final Fantasy Dear Friends concert in Orlando, Florida.
Hell yeah, dude! At the
so
you're going to the Dr. Whatever.
Dr. Phil Harmonic.
Yeah.
The Phillips Arena thing.
Yeah, Dr. Phillips Arena. Dude, that's gonna be Dr. Phil Harmonic.
John Halo is gonna be performing there.
Yes. No, that's super exciting. I am so stoked for you to do that.
Yeah. I wait.
Yeah, I saw something similar there. I saw the Star Wars Episode 4. And it was basically they had the movie playing on a big giant movie theater screen, but then they had the Orlando Philharmonic playing the score in the pit underneath it, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That sounds
and it's the same orchestra playing what you're going to go see.
Yeah, and they have the big media screen that's going to be playing like Final Fantasy stuff in the background.
Oh, that's going to be dope. Yeah. That's super cool.
Excited. I have all the Final Fantasy, like the Dear Friends albums on like Apple Music, but to see it live is a whole another thing.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. You're gonna have a good time for sure. When is that one?
March of next year.
Okay. Hell yeah, dog. Are tickets still? I might go. I might buy tickets. You trying to double date that shit?
Let's go. I could send you my. Yeah, they're still available. I'll put a link in the show doc.
All right. Well, hey, I think that's a good place to end it. What do you think?
I think that's good.
I think I'm either gonna go stream or play some Gloomhaven. I don't know which yet. But yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 17 of the Gaming and Drinking Cast. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Thank you, internet. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, my dogs who are snuggled up against my feet.
Thank you, all the breweries that provide this great beer for us.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't provide shit.
Or give us the ability to pay them for a good.
Yeah. Thank you for making beer, assholes. Give me some for free. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor us with that kind of.
I'm just kidding. Thank you so much
35th
for your
anniversary. Damn.
35th.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're getting old.
No, but I'm also an asshole, so I apologize for being an asshole. No, the brewery, Hazelwood, whatever the fuck that demon beer was. What was that one? Sometimes Goats from Birds Fly South. Birds Fly South. So we had some Birds Fly South. We had some brewery. We had some Hazelwood. What was your other one?
The acai.
That's right. So thanks to all those guys for just making great beer. And thanks to the video game world for keeping us entertained. And cheers to you, internet. Cheers to your friends and family.
Cheers.
Give your mom a hug. Tell her you love her. Peace.
Back next week.
Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Set the place on fire.